Hey.
Okay, we'll explore the village a little bit further.
All right then.
It's a caravan here. Potential trader.
Yeah?
Ah, the adventurer who saved the village. So good of you to visit my humble wagon. I am Uduran. Asking how business is, yeah. After that shenanigans, probably not very good. A grey cloak. Created by the wizard Gorin. I mean, they're quite pricey. Oh, they're not even that pricey. $2.5 grand. Well, it's certainly not as good as his current Rundle's finery, but I'm almost interested in buying it just for something different to wear around town occasionally. They do look pretty nice in the portrait, I will admit. Do you know what? Oh, wait a second, there could be a hat here, hold your horses. Ultimate hat of alluring perfection. Yeah, perhaps not. Not quite the hat that fedoras used to. Rufek's Watchful Cloak Mark II. It's pretty nifty. Riona's Buckle. Gauntlets of Accuracy. +5 to accuracy. Somebody's got something to do with accuracy gloves. I'm sure they have. I might be wrong there. Tundra Hood. Some scrolls. Okay, I don't know how many pry bars and hooks we have and things, but we're going to buy them anyway because they do come in handy for those scripted encounters. Lockpicks, I think we got tons of those. And a torch. Do you know what I think we're going to do? I think Fedoran can help. You know how he likes to shop? He doesn't usually hold on to his money for no apparent reason, and if there's something that just takes his eye in the shops, he can't help it. And this has just caught his eye. It's not a hat, but it's some robes. If you don't like them, they'll just gather dust, but if he does, he may wear them in and around certain areas, and it could just be something to remember this place by if we hang it up in our wardrobe back at Bright Hollows, but we are going to purchase it. There we go. So whilst we're here, I just want to check these gloves. I'm sure somebody had accuracy. Yeah, he's got minor gauntlets of accuracy, which is only +3 to accuracy. So we can improve that. And she doesn't have any gloves at all, so we can give her the cast-offs from Adair, if you will. No other accuracy bonuses. So, yeah. So we will get those for Adair.
Just say the word.
While we're here. I mean, this cloak is pretty nifty. Extra 2 perception and extra enemies needed to flank. That could be something also for Adair. But one step at a time. One step at a time. Going on a shopping spree here. This is +5 to reflex and extra healing. He gets 1 resolve from his helmet though, so...
Just say the word.
Two might, 2 constitution for loss of intellect and resolve. 2 perception it is. You see, enemies needed to flank, that's quite interesting. Enemies needed to flank. 2 might and 2 con is also pretty nice. If we get that and combine it with perhaps that, which gives us our 2 perception back, and 2 enemies needed to flank. Combine those 2 together, and you've got a nice little tank pair of items, haven't you? For the cost of only 15,000 coin, we do have to spend our coin, but perhaps not quite that much on another party member. We'll spend something. We've given him some gloves. We've upgraded his gloves, so he can be happy with that. But yeah, those 2 combined would be a real nice upgrade for Adair. Yeah. So we get extra resolve from the cloak, which would eliminate this resolve from this hat. We get extra perception. Extra perception from the... I'm confused. Forget what I'm saying. Yeah, we're going to leave it anyway. It's too much money. Too much! It's too much! Alright, so a little bit of shopping done. Let me just... wait a second. Right, just a moment. And just put some of this crap away, and let's just have a wee look-see here. Oh, not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's quite nice. It is quite nice. I mean, the colour of the cloak would probably have to change slightly. But, yeah. As I said, not to be worn as a matter of course, but if we ever come against an enemy that does a lot of these things, this could be an absolutely perfect piece of equipment. And we can enchant it with fine, with also a boost to some form of stat. And we could also proof it, which would bring it in line with actually what we currently are wearing, to be honest with you. We could improve the damage reduction with the fine, I think. We could enchant it for 2 intellect, and then on top of that, we'll have... Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this here. So if we enchant it with fine, I think we'll get to DR5. We get extra defense against charmed attacks and against dominated attacks, confused attacks, gets image when critical hit. We can enchant it for 2 intellect, so it will bring it in line with that. So the only thing we're going to be missing really is +2 to law. I'm kinda thinking. It's we might have a change of item here. Kinda thinking it might be worth. Let's just enchant it with that for now. So do we want to use a diamond here? Well, we have brought it up to DR5. Have we brought it to DR5 now? Whoops, a daisy. Yeah, it's been brought up to DR5. So with 2 intellect, we've got a sort of comparable item. Yeah. Well, we'll bear it in mind. So add it to our stash of items that we like to wear, just to show off our status. Okay, so this is a mine area. Hammer and chisel could come in handy.
Hey. Hey.
Some berries. Alright, so we're going to go down now to this is the temple here, Ondra's temple, is it? check this out. Oh, wait a second. I'll find it without your help. Not giving up, you hear me? What's going on? Charlatans. I'll...
Yeah?
A dwarf paces with his head down and arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime, and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and what for? He kicks at a mound of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. He extends his arm out. Who were you shouting at? Fedoran asking. An idiot, that's who! And I'm as much to blame for believing them. Dwarf winkles his nose, nostrils flaring like a horse. Well, good riddance. Should never have settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind, come to find out you packed them anyway. But I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again, not after this. He gestures at the burnt-out buildings. Those sweet-tongued priests took my heirlooms. Bury the memory of my past, they said. Now I don't have even that. I take it you gave something of yours to one of Andra's gift-bearers. He takes his gaze away from the ground and gives you a sideways glance. You're quick. Wish I had those wits when they spoke of peace and redemption in the eyes of the goddess. Those priests, Andra's dogs, said the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. He nods towards a nearby temple. Their leader, Laughter, I believe her words. I believe their words. Another one of them, a gift-bearer, took my medallion. He closes his stocky hand into a fist. And now they won't tell me where it is. And why's that? Because they think they know better, that's why. Said it was the only way I'd forget. Forget what? Oh, look, that was a different life. Better days. Until he closes his eyes and shakes his head. Motes of soot fall onto his hunched shoulders. It's my burden to bear, not yours. I thought to cast it away, but the memories I lost were all the wrong ones. Did you give the priest anything else? The dwarf casts a measuring look at you. He quickly turns his head away and nods. You'd understand its value. My armour, a set finer than I have ever seen, but worthless to an old dwarf. I'd have traded it for the medallion, but the fool that I was, I gave them both. Well, I'm going to be popping inside. If I happen to find anything out, I'll let you know. Not the kind of talk that I've grown used to these last few years, I admit. The priest may pretend otherwise, but folks here tend to look only after themselves. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings to the goddess in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better to find where they dropped them, I think. Okay, and what exactly was Laughter's role in all of this? She leads that group of crows. They took over the temple as folks started to leave. Came to unburden those that sought to forget their misery here, they say. And asking for a description of the medallion. Belonged to my sister. It's just a pretty trinket to her. To me... He casts his gaze down. She was the last of my family. At least that still acted like family to me. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. He gives Fedoran a vigorous nod. Okay, so we can bring it up when we speak with Laughter. We are going to speak with her, of course.
Of course.
Of course. So this is the Fishery, which we'll visit next. Speaking of fish...
Ready when you are.
Oh, it's working! Yes! I can't believe it! It's really... Oh.
Oh, looks at you, a disappointed expression on her face. In her hands is a large rectangular box covered in strange dials and symbols. Expecting someone else? Fedoran quipping?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so rude. I'm Ista. I heard we have you to thank for clearing out the ogres. I'm glad Stalwart survived. It would have been a disappointing trip up here otherwise.
And what's the device you are holding?
My ore-locating divination tool. Well, that's what it will be. I have to calibrate it. Right now it seems to think you're a copper deposit.
Oh, I've been called many a things in my time, but a copper deposit?
My Animancer contacts did suggest that a particular strong soul essence might interfere. I'm more interested in minerals in any case.
Ah, well, that is an interesting thing you bring up. Perhaps I do have a strong soul.
I suppose that's possible. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, unfortunately.
And how exactly does the device work?
It's actually quite sophisticated, if you'll forgive me a little professional pride. A mix of alchemical processes and scrying enchantments, and some very expensive crystals. I'm trying to recreate the instruments that first led the Pargrin dwarves to this mountain. This is my latest prototype. Centuries ago, dwarves carrying tools just like this one followed their readings to what is now the battery. If I can recreate their work, then I may be able to find ore deposits elsewhere. I was hoping to test it, but my arrival was delayed by word of the ogre attack. I haven't been able to find anyone to venture up the mountain since.
Well, I'm going up there anyway. I suppose I could take it on my travels.
Really? That'd be wonderful. I just have to adjust the device, you see.
My hands move swiftly over the box, adjusting knobs and dials.
It should point you toward metal deposits. We already know the battery rests on some rich veins, but I was hoping to get a reading of the surrounding mountainside. If you can follow the readings to ore and bring back a sample, I can use it to refine the device. Thanks ever so much for this.
All right. We have some kind of a device. Alrighty. We'll sure to report back if we find anything of note.
Hey.
Alright, so into the temple then. Speaking with laughter, there is a particular reason we came here. Is it just something to do with the ogre quest? I can't remember, but...
Yeah?
Now we also have something else to talk to her about, and that is, of course, the issue with a medallion and a piece of armour. Veins course under this woman's pale skin like icy fishes, yet when she speaks, her voice flows warm and soothing. Andra welcomes you into her embrace. Her features soften into a look of practiced compassion. We're here to ease the pain of your past, ready to take your burdens. With a thin smile, she nods. If you let the goddess help with your hardships, of course. I heard that the worshippers of Berath visited you recently. Cutting to the chase. Little happens around here that doesn't end in the mouths of villagers, but we're obliged to assist everyone, regardless of their faith. A group of women came to us, yes. Their leader wanted to know of Durgan's battery. I obliged and pointed them in its direction. They left as quietly as they arrived, which didn't make us any less concerned about their true intentions. This place has grown dangerous enough already. Okay, and asking about Okran's heirloom. The dwarf already asked. We gave him the counsel he needed. Slight irritation sharpens her tone. She seems to catch herself, modulating her voice back to a pleasant timbre. Naturally, we'll do what we can for you too. Okay. Ask what you will. He wants his medallion back. She brings her hands together and nods. Ah, Okran. How often we let the shadows of the past become a burden even to others. That medallion, it weighs on Okran's mind. You're kind to help, but what he really needs is to cast away those memories. Yes, well, obviously Fedoran is explaining that that's his choice, surely. And at the moment, he is deciding he wants it back. He did. He understood the solace that the goddess can give to those like him. It was explained to him that many have second thoughts, but one does not withdraw something offered to a goddess. In time, the memories fade, and they come to see the wisdom of their original pledge. His belongings, his past, now rest in Ondra's realm, to be forgotten, so that the wounds of the soul may heal. This is the will of the goddess. Ultimately, we've tried. I mean, who are we to meddle in the affairs of gods? We know that how he sees. He doesn't like to meddle in the affairs of gods, and usually does what gods will, as per the scrolls of, was it Whale that we found? But suggesting perhaps that maybe he needs a medallion to discover how to forget. For a moment, the priestess scans the floor before her, as if in search for an answer. She nods. You're well versed in the intricacies of our faith. No use in hiding anything from someone like you. There's no need to quarrel over the mysteries of a goddess's will. I'll tell you what you wish to know. Okran's heirloom was taken by Ixtili, chosen gift-bearer among us to be cast away as an offering to Ondra. Only he knows where. You could ask him yourself, but he's on a trek through the mountains of Durgan's Battery. If you run into Ixtli, tell him he has urgent duties to attend here. Well, we're not going to disbelieve her. Okay, so asking about the gift-bearer. He had business near Durgan's Battery. Those mountains are dangerous. If you insist upon carrying out this request of Okran's, then that's where I'd search for answers. Alright. Now, who's this fella? A young man dressed in sturdy leathers glares at you, the creases in his face tanned despite the scarce sunlight of the region. Okay. They suffer a slight twitch as you approach. Chirpy chap.
Hey.
So we've got to find the gift bearer. And he's on a journey near Durgan's Battery. Okay.
Hey.
So, oh! As you step outside, the heavy wooden door of the temple slams shut behind you. You hear someone barring it from the other side. It sounds like the priests have engaged in an agitated conversation. You get the sense that they are discussing you, but you are also certain that the door is too thick to eavesdrop through, although there may be other places nearby where you could stand a better chance. Can't believe this! How could you? The wooden shutters of the temple's window close tight muffle a set of voices coming from within the building. You can't quite make sense of the murmur, but cracking a shutter open would likely help. A rusty iron latch holds the window shutters closed. With care, you should be able to unfasten it without being noticed. Yeah, unfasten. This is where Fedoran gets caught, the clumsy oaf that he is. You carefully begin to lift the latch from its metal hook. Halfway there, the rusted iron resists with a screech. You freeze, listening to the voices in hopes the priest didn't hear. Their conversation continues uninterrupted. Put some oil on the latch. You grab the latch and apply just the right amount of oil, nudging the metal until its rust gives way without a sound. Quick thinking there, Fedoran, well done. Carefully, you pull the window shutters open enough to let the voices flow through. You hear a man speaking, his tone agitated. You do that? Hope the mountains will do it. What if X? His sentence cuts, as if the man was speaking to all sides of the room. Suppose he tells them instead. What then? You recognise Laughter's voice responding. Why would he? And with all those dangers near the battery, our gift-bearer won't delay. I expect the man interrupts her. You always expect. Look where that's taken us. A dying village. Ogres at the walls. Ixtli's not back yet, and now I have to do his His voice drops and ceases, muffling what he has to say. After a moment, laughter replies. Do you think I wanted this? That I could have known in advance? A pause ensues, its tension growing until the priestess's voice cuts it in half. We can't wait for him. We must fish out the last batch, quickly. After that, we'll decide. The man responds in a broken voice, barely audible. You only distinguish the last words. In that russetwood pond? I'll go. Their exchange seems to end. Cautiously, you step away from the window of Ondra's temple. Oh, what do we have here? Find the gift bearer or search the waters of the russetwood. I think we'll search the waters of the russetwood, I think, when it comes to that quest. Something fishy is going on as we head to the fishery. Makes me think we need to go very quickly to the russetwood and follow that man. Ooh. Some items? I think they're all going in the bloody wrong inventory here, are they? No.
Hey.
Okay, popping into the fishery.
Fresh fish!
What the hell?
Freshly caught!
Fishery workers.
Let's
Back
have
to
some
work, everyone.
skewers
No
while
time
we're
for
here.
dallying.
Ooh,
Ready when you are.
slave driver.
A fine thing you reached us when you did. They would have burned the fishery next, mark my words.
Here's your hand in a sturdy handshake.
And the last thing this lot needs is another excuse to knock off early.
He raises his voice at this last remark and glowers around the room. The other fisher folk look studiously away and focus on mending nets, gutting fish and sorting the day's catch.
Anyway, excuse the mess. If there's something you need, the clerk can get you sorted. Just watch your step if you've a mind to look around. The floors are slick and none too pleasant to fall on. Been running it 4 decades now. I reckon I can tell you what you want to know.
It's a fishery. Big operation.
It may stink of fish guts, but there's no place more critical to Stalworth's survival.
Nodding. A blush of pride rising above his beard.
Herds come and go, so there's seasons when our catch sustains the village. But try telling these folk as much. We go home each day covered to the elbows in fish oil and entrails, reeking of our work. Stalworth's shrinking, but it would disappear if we lost the fishers. I drive 'em hard, but I can't afford to do otherwise. Need anything else?
No.
Hey.
There was a quest, wasn't there, that we just got for this? I don't know what it's about. Seems to take a lot of pride in his role. Perhaps we should speak with him further?
Just say the word.
Need something else. Been running it 4 decades now.
Alright, so ask him what he
Reckon I can
does
tell
here.
you what you want. Just about everything. I track the day's catches and see that our nets and hooks are in working order. My family's been in charge of the fishery since the early days of Stalworth. I know the best spots to find frost dive or an iron-toothed pike, and I make sure we don't overfish the speckleback. Need anything else?
I don't know why we said to speak with the clerk. Okay, we can actually buy... Oh, Ring of Oversea. Plus 10% ability area of effect. That's pretty nice. Camping supplies. Ivory worm figurine. This is a pet. No, it's not. It's 2 worms. Ooh, more summons. 6,000 coin. Oh yeah, we like summons. Summons, you can't beat a decent summon. 6,000 though. Jeez Louise. A lot of coin we're spending here. It'll go in the quick item slot, this, I think. Yeah, summons are good. Summons are good. We like summons. The more the merrier. Ha ha ha. Shopping, shopping, shopping. We don't use Potion of Fleet Feet, do we? No, we don't. We don't use Potion of Fleet Feet very often. No. Let's put some summons in there. Ivory worms, yes. 2 worms summoned. So he summons 2 worms. She can summon wood beetles and an adra beetle, which is useful. He can summon his phantoms and skeletons. What can you summon, lovey? Nothing. Get yourself a summon, come on.
Just say the word.
Alright, so our coin is now a little bit less than it was at the start of the session, down to only 36,000 after buying some robes and some worms.
Hey.
Sure, I agree that purchases were well required and well worth it. Summoning worms, I mean, ooh. I didn't say, is it 2 uses
Ready
per
when you
rest? I think it must be 2
Fresh
uses.
fish, freshly caught.
Oh, one per rest, yeah, 1 per rest. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey,
2 worms, once per rest. Perfect. Summon in a pickle.
of course.
So with him, if Kana summons his phantom, she summons her beetles, and we summon our worm all at the same time, we're going to have a lot of friendly characters. You know, we'll be looking
Hey.
good. Okay, so, ooh.
Effigy's eyes! It looks at me!
The hell is up with him?
Ah!
I think he's slightly crazy. A dozen pairs of globular eyes stare up piteously from the discarded heads of the day's catch, awash in a pungent sea of fins and innards. Would we really want to sift through fish scraps? No, we wouldn't, but we're asking Kana to do so. Kana's hand runs up against something round and fleshy, the size of a melon. It is smooth and scaleless, and parts seem to be covered in hair. A discarded head, but not that of a fish. Jesus. Pull out the head. What the hell? What the flip? Somebody's jumped out of it. Ugh. The man who leapt from the barrel stands facing you, nearly naked save for a loincloth and drizzled in fish viscera. He is covered head to toe in scars, tears and punctures, and the thorny imprints of lashings. Most have faded like old memories. Despite that, the condition of the man's body is remarkable. The drooping skin at his flanks and elbows the only evidence of his advanced age. His face is placid, but the rest of him appears prepared for anything.
You must forgive, Zawa. I was not expecting you.
He looks you in the eye at first, but his gaze drifts now and then, settling on a strange parts of your face, as though distracted by new discoveries. If he's at all flustered, he gives no indication. What on earth are you doing in that barrel? He scratches behind his ear, dismayed.
Resting my eyes, I thought. Waiting for the Malkachoa to bring me insight. It would seem I dozed. A good thing my master was not alive to see it.
He blinks, leaning in to get a better look at you. His enlarged pupils seem to crowd out his pale irises.
Are you real?
Fedoran probably just touching himself to make sure. In shock. Yes, certainly. Are you?
Of course. I meant no offense. But I find it is best to ask when Malkachoa is involved.
Malkachoa? I've never heard of this.
A small white mushroom. I have heard it called snowcap in these lands.
Oh, he's been on the drugs. Explains it all.
It can reveal the true nature of many things.
Yes. Oh dear. You mentioned a master? The man traces your inadvertent glance at his scars. He smiles politely.
A teacher, not an owner. Zawa is a free man. Well, as free as any of us.
Indeed. And, I still can't comprehend what on earth you were doing in a barrel full of fish guts.
I was freeing myself from vanity.
Oh, bathing yourself in fish would probably do that to you. Sanity or vanity? Both, perhaps?
Consider, how can one be vain who is bathed in the smell of dead fish?
Hard to argue with that argument.
I had the idea when I passed this way earlier. I am pleased with the results so far.
He smiles at a woman whose head is swiveled towards him as she passes by, a look of revulsion on her face. Distracted, her toe catches on a stone and she nearly falls on her face. Her hands... he clasps his hands together.
Yes, quite pleased.
Yes, you don't seem like you're from round here.
I was visiting a monastery not far from here. I found it empty, but I met a messenger as I left. He carried a call for aid. Seeing that he would find no monks at the monastery, I chose to go in their place. Zawa is no longer young, but in combat he is still the greatest of the Takan people. It seemed only right that he should go.
So are those scars from battle? He looks down at his body.
From battle, yes. I left them upon my enemies. These were struck against fear. These against pleasure. These against hatred. Those down there against greed and doubt. And these were for vanity.
What, you made these scars yourself?
I cannot take credit for all of them, but I did most of the good ones. I put them there in battle to remind myself what is real and what is not. Our worst enemies are inventions of the mind, pleasure, fear. When we see them for what they are, we become unstoppable.
And have you achieved this?
I feel I have been close, but never for more than an instant. In the moment when the pain is sharpest, the world becomes clear. In that moment, I am a match for anyone.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure doing business. We didn't do any business, but it was I wonder, is he a companion, perhaps? I don't think so. Okay, so mentioning that Stalwart hired us as well to assist.
I would not say I am hired. I seek no wage, and I promise no result. I have chosen a path, and my spoils come from walking it.
An uneasy frown settles on his face, almost a wince.
And this fortress, this Durgan's battery, its people are gone. Zawa would know why.
Okay, I think we can actually hire him as a companion here. Mentioning that we are seeking the White Forge, and we may be able to use somebody that smells of fish guts as bait for some of these nasties, perhaps? Or to repel them, even. Cheerily shrugging.
If one wishes to swim, it is no time to argue with the current. We are here together in this moment because a perfect force has willed it. Who is Zawa to argue? I will walk with you so long as the gods wish it so.
Indeed he is. He is a monk, which makes sense. He could have guessed that from his conversation. Oh, I almost feel inclined that we should bring you on our travels with us here, but I don't know anything about monks. Well, we'll stick him in the old roster for now and bear it in mind. But I think, yeah, what an interesting character. He could replace Kana for the time being, I suppose. But then we've got the Grieving Mother. Oh god, there's just too many. There's too many. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing Alof back in for a session or two. So many characters.
Hey.
What's left to explore then? So we have the hot springs. There's a house over here, but we've had no reason to visit there just yet. There's the burning building where we ended the session pretty much. I think we'll go up to the hot springs, just check them out.
All right then.
And then I think what we'll do is we'll go into the inn
Me and Sledge are thinking about heading down, joining a caravan over to Dawning.
and rest
Dawning?
up.
What for? You like your ogres bigger?
We'd have work at least, and I'm damn sick of fish.
Oh, well. Nothing wrong with a bit of fish, in moderation, I suppose.
Hey.
Alright, so that's the house there, and just finishing off our little tour of the village at the northern side,
Hey.
picking all the herbs. This is to Durgan's battery, and that is the unmistakable sound of the inn. Okay, so we've done a lap of the village. We've come across some rather interesting characters, and we've picked up more than a few tasks to keep us busy as we traverse the White March. So if you've got any thoughts on the new potential companion, please let me know.
Ready when you are.
Other
Back
than
to
that,
warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
we'd like a
Top
room,
quality bear pelts on every bed. You want
some rest, recuperation in the Golden Whale. Until next time, see you soon.